It was a frustrating night for the Dodgers. Placido Polanco saved 2 runs and took an extra base hit away from Cesar Izturis. Jim Edmonds threw Izturis out at the plate. And then the game ended as it began, as a Dodger hit into a double play. Jordan in the first inning, LaDuca in the ninth. The Dodgers down, but still leading by a half a game. And today they'll go up against Andy Bennis and rely on Hideo Nomo to split the series with the Cardinals. It's time for Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, Fox Sports Net 2 presents the Dodgers as they take on the St. Louis Cardinals. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be. Dodgers and Birds finishing up their work for the year, believe it or not. The Dodgers split 4 in St. Louis, and they're trying to get a split at home. And today they'll be facing a pitcher who hasn't pitched in a game since April the 15th. That would be Andy Bennis. He's been on the 60-day DL with an arthritic right knee. The same Bennis who threatened to retire and is now going to pitch today. For the Dodgers, one of their better pitchers, Hideo Nomo, trying to win his 10th. The last time Hideo pitched against St. Louis, he pitched a gem for 8 innings, allowing only 1 run. The game went 11, and the Dodgers won it. So this is the final meeting between 2 first-place teams coming up tomorrow, San Diego. We'll get to the starting lineup. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. By Kia Motors, makers of a full line of quality cars. By Jack in the Box, where we don't make it till you order. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher, Gatorade, is it in you? And by Nissan, driven. Welcome to Los Angeles and to Dodger Stadium. The temperature 77 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and a perfect day for the final meeting of the year between the Dodgers and the St. Louis Cardinals. The Cardinals have a slight edge. They've won 3 out of 5. And over the years, the Cardinals have won 9 more games than the Dodgers have beaten them. It's 9-26 to 9-17, one of the great rivalries in any sport. So this will be the last time the Dodgers can stare across the diamond and look at the Birds. And here are the names on the Cardinal lineup, which will be sent up to home plate. It'll be Fernando Vina leading off at second base and Placido Polanco at third. Jim Edmonds, the gold glove and the gold arm, in center field batting third. Albert Pujols hitting cleanup in left field. Tino Martinez, the veteran first baseman, back in there today against a right-hander. Edgar Renteria, the shortstop. Eli Marrero will be in right field batting seventh. Behind the plate, Mike Matheny, and on the mound, Andy Bennis, fighting an arthritic right knee, and Bennis returns to the big leagues for the first time since the middle of April. These are trying times for Jim Tracy, but he constantly reminding his players, this, when you look at it, is the middle of July. There's more than 2.5 months to go, and they are still in first place, albeit only by a half a game. The Dodger lineup, which will feature Hideo Nomo on the mound, reads this way. Dave Roberts starting in center field. Alex Cora gets back into the game, the left-hand hitting shortstop playing for Izturis. Sean Green will bat third in right field. It also means that Paul LaDuca will sit down. Eric Karros moves up to hit behind Green in the cleanup spot. Brian Jordan will be in left field. Adrian Beltre, who got the Dodgers on the scoreboard with a home run last night, will be at third base. Mark Grassolonic with 3 hits last night at second base. Chad Kruger, who had been on the DL with a bad leg, returns and makes his first start in a couple of weeks behind the plate. And on the mound, Hideo Nomo trying to win his 10th game of the year. He has lost 5. So it's the Dodgers and the Cardinals underway right after this. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good afternoon to you, wherever you may be. Welcome to Dodger Stadium. Welcome to the 9th annual Camp Dodger Stadium Day. The Dodgers are pleased to welcome more than 75 youngsters, 7,500 youngsters, staff, families, and friends from the Greater Los Angeles Park and Recreation, Southern California Municipal Athletic Federation, and individual summer day camp programs, inviting all the kids to enjoy a day in the ballpark. We have about 7,500, and they're all wearing very colorful T-shirts, many of them wearing the Dodger wigs, and we're about ready. What a better background for a ball game than a bunch of youngsters out there in the bleachers. Hideo Nomo trying to get the Dodgers back on track. This would be the 6th game of the homestand, and obviously the club's struggling. They have won 1 and lost 4. The Dodgers, however, look to the sunshine and a chance to heal. The Dodgers have a very good record playing daytime ball. In fact, they have a record of 18-8. That would be tied with Atlanta for the best record in the National League this year. And one of the better day hitters certainly would be Jim Edmonds and Sean Green. So we ought to have ourselves quite an afternoon here, the Dodgers and the Cardinals. The Cardinals are playing very well for Tony La Russa. They've won 8 of their last 11. They're enjoying their biggest lead of the year, 3.5 games in front of Cincinnati. And one reason, not only with Jim Edmonds, but all Albert Pujols and the rest of the ball club piling up home runs. They've hit 24 home runs, and they have homered in 12 of the last 13 games in which they have played. So the Dodgers and the Cardinals just about ready. Nomo makes his last warm-up toss, and here we go. Fernando Vina will start it off. Vina, a good leadoff man because he is a solid hitter. Last couple of years he has hit 300 or better. Right now hitting 274. Has not done anything against Nomo in the past. His on-base percentage is only .332. For instance, Dave Roberts is .370. One of the big reasons, Vina doesn't walk very much, but he also has struck out less than he walked. So Vina, a force as he checks into the plate. Nomo, feet together on the rubber, now into the windup, and here we go. Hideo's first pitch is a fastball high, ball 1. Vina has 34 runs batted in, 1 home run. His 34 RBIs are tops among all the National League leadoff batters. Nomo again ready. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and Vina has a look, and that's outside, ball 2. Matt Hollowell, the plate umpire. Jim Reynolds, Mark Hirschbeck, and Paul Schreiber on the lines. Nomo looks down the barrel. Vina waiting on a 2-0 pitch. Now Hideo swings into the windup over the top and drops it in there for a strike. For Vina, not only tops for leadoff men with 34 RBIs, he is tops on the Cardinal club. He has 96 hits. He has 12 stolen bases. He has 7 game-winning RBIs. So the 2-1 pitch to Fernando Vina. He bunts out in front of the plate. Kruger picks it up and throws him out. So Vina tried to drag it, but left it directly out in front of the plate, and Kruger shoots him down easily. So 1 away here in the first inning, and Placido Polanco coming up. The bat came down, and we were wondering if the ball hit the bat. There was no indication by Matt Hollowell. If the ball hits your bat in fair ground, you're automatically out anyway. So with 1 out, the batter is Placido Polanco. Polanco with a .291 batting average and has just won the job easily at third base, and that's made the job a lot easier for Tony La Russa. Polanco takes a strike, and the count 0-1. With Polanco having a solid year, hitting to all fields, and by locking up third base, that gives Albert Pujols a chance to play every day in left field. So they improve day after day in 2 positions. Now Nomo ready and comes back, and it's swung on, a fly ball to right field. Green moving over nicely and picks it off. So 2 down. Jim Edmonds can do a lot of things to beat you, and he put a couple of them on the lines last night. First of all, it was Edmonds in the first inning who uppercutted one of Omar Dahl's pitches for his 18th home run of the year to get the Cardinals off 2-0. And then on a base hit by Dave Roberts, Edmonds charging the plate, four-time Gold Glover threw a strike to the plate, and his first was out on a great block by Mike DeFelice. So Jim Edmonds, multi-talented, batting .317, 18 home runs and 47 runs batted in. Nomo into the windup and delivers, and Edmonds fouls it back, and the count 0-1. Jim Edmonds 1 for 8 in the past against Hideo Nomo. Edmonds with 4 Gold Gloves, 2 in the American League, 2 in the National League. He'd win a Gold Glove in any league. Edmonds, if we have the figures right, the last 5 years of a 6-year deal worth $57 million. Jim takes down and away, and the count 1 ball and 1 strike. So Edmonds going strong. Just celebrated his 32nd birthday the end of June, born in Fullerton. 1 ball and 1 strike. Edmonds waiting. Into the windup goes Hideo Nomo with 2 out and the bases empty. And the 1-1 pitch, Edmonds goes after a pitch up and fouls it back with that big uppercut swing. 1-2 the count. Quietly in the dugout, Andy Bennis with 150 victories in his career. He's pitched over 2,500 innings, but he hasn't been in a game since the 15th of April. So this will be an extremely important start for Big Andy today. 1-2 the count to Jim Edmonds. Nomo backs off the rubber. Edmonds in spring training had a ball game where he homered, then tripled and doubled. And before he could have a chance to hit for the cycle, La Russa took him out of the game, tongue-in-cheek, saying, "I didn't want him to peak too soon." Well, he hasn't peaked too soon. He has really been consistent as he takes low and inside, and the count 2-2. Edmonds has missed a few games for La Russa with a bad wrist, but wrist or no, he is still extremely valuable and so important to the Cardinal attack. The 2-2 pitch on the way. Nomo delivers, and it's fouled off. So Edmonds still there. This is the 90th game for the St. Louis Cardinals, and for Jim Edmonds, his 75th. So the wrist has kept him out of 15 ball games. For the Dodgers, this is game number 94. And hitting behind Edmonds is Albert Pujols as a force all unto himself. 21 home runs, 67 runs batted in. So 2-2 the count to Jim Edmonds. Nomo poised as he stares into Cruder. Now to the windup, and the 2-2 pitch coming up. Half swing, strike 3 on a splitter down and away, and Edmonds strikes out. So Nomo sets the Birds down quickly and in order. And at the end of half an inning, Cardinals nothing, Dodgers coming up.
30. Center fielder.
No score, bottom of the first inning, and the Dodgers now will take a look at Andy Bennis. Big Andy, the first thing you notice about him is his size. He is 6'6", 245 pounds, and he'll be 35 years old come August. He's had a very bad arthritic right knee. In fact, the pain made it so difficult to even try to pitch. He was thinking about retiring, but he's going to bite the bullet and try and come back. Actually, for Andy Bennis, he didn't make a start after August the 3rd last year. Made no appearances after August 30th. Then this year, after getting through spring training, he started twice and lost, and makes his first pitch outside to Dave Roberts. So this is his first pitch in a game since the 15th of April, and it is a rare start indeed for him. He was excluded last year from the postseason roster as he works low, ball 2. The same guy who willed his way to a win in Game 3 of the 2000 League Championship Series was a cheerleader last year, and now struggling to get back to his old ball club. The 2-0 pitch to Roberts in for a strike, and the count 2-1. For Bennis, he doesn't run because he has no cartilage cushioning the bones in his right knee. Can't jump either. Here's the 2-1 pitch on the way, and that's whacked down the right field line, but it's hooking foul and going deep in the lower deck. So Dave Roberts, who has 2 home runs and 20 RBIs, goes deep and foul, and the count 2-2. In Bennis's defeats, April the 4th, he started against Colorado, gave up 4 earned runs in 4 innings and lost the game. Had a no decision against Milwaukee, and he gave up 5 runs in 7 innings. Back he comes off the plate, ball 3. Then his last game, April the 15th in Arizona, he gave up 10 runs. 3 of them were earned in 3 innings, and the Cardinals lost that game 14-5. So big Andy Reddian comes back, hard ground ball to short, right at Renteria, who throws him out. So Dave Roberts grounding to short, 1 out, and the batter will be Alex Cora.
Batting second, 13.
Alex Cora off the bench last night to contribute a line drive single to right field. Cora batting .333 as a pinch hitter, and he has just had a remarkable year going in and out of the lineup. A lot of people would look at Cora and immediately say, why isn't he playing every day? And I think most people feel that he is doing the job that he is best suited to do, not play every day. Alex has a look at a strike, and the count 0-1. So he is a remarkably handy man to have around. He can spell his tourists, he can spell Grassolonic, and as long as he doesn't have to play day after day in the grind, looks like that's the job for him. He takes outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. Of course, we're only surmising that. That is certainly not our decision. But Cora has just sparkled. Now the 1-1 pitch. Bennis ready and delivers, and that's on the inside corner for a strike, and the count 1-2. Andy Bennis, in thinking about retirement, has even thought about having a doctor shred his knee and tie it back together. That swung on and missed, picked up, and the out recorded at first. So Cora strikes out, 2 down in the first inning, and the batter will be Shawn Green. His right quadriceps atrophied last year, so it made moving laterally excruciating for Andy Bennis, and made him, even trying to field a bunt, a nightmare. And that brings up a rather sensitive question, but after all, this is the big leagues. You have Roberts and Cora. You have a big guy who everyone knows has a bad knee, and neither man tried to bunt. Here's Shawn Green, and he takes off the plate, ball 1. I'll tell you one thing, if you roll back the clock a few years, you would bet they would have already bunted on Bennis. But the modern day club, it appears, everybody going for the downs. Green takes a strike, and the count 1-1. 2 down, first inning, no score. Shawn Green with Eric Karros hitting back of him. Green hitting about .390 on the homestand, takes a strike. We were talking last night about the predicament for Jim Tracy. He talked about the hot hand hits behind Green. Well, Jim last night played Jordan behind Green. Jordan is hitting .118. Ground foul outside of third. So he dropped Jordan behind Karros. Karros has 4 hits in the homestand, bidding .267. So at least for today, that makes him the hot hand. 1-2 the count to Shawn Green. Paul LaDuca, who has played well, needs a rest, and he's getting it as Green takes low. LaDuca, during the homestand, is hitting only .174. So let's face it, there are no hot hands to hit back of Green. Not yet. 2-2 to Shawn. Bennis slightly at an angle. His toes point to the third base foul line. Big guy deals, and it's fouled away again. So it's still 2-2. Boy, there was a rather cruel column written in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch a day or 2 ago talking about Andy Bennis. And he said for the Cardinals to pitch Andy Bennis today is a disgrace to the Cardinal organization. There's a ground ball to Vigna, and the out at first. So I don't know if Andy read it or not, but he has further incentive to pitch again. And at the end of an inning, no score. Friends, a reminder, this Sunday is Autograph Day at Dodger Stadium before the 5:10 game with the Giants, and all fans 14 and under can obtain an autograph from select Dodger players and coaches from 3 to 4 p.m. in Lot 32. Giants will be here starting Friday night, Saturday afternoon, and then Sunday at 5:10, Autograph Day. Well, the youngsters are here, a lot of them wearing caps. Hopefully a lot of them out there in the bleachers wearing some sunblock. Gorgeous afternoon in the ballpark. Albert Pujols followed by Tino Martinez and Edgar Renteria. The remarkable Pujols hitting .293, 21 home runs, and 67 runs batted in. So Albert waiting as Nomo goes to the windup. And the pitch to him is in there for a strike, 0-1. Pujols named as National League Player of the Week. He had .433 with 5 home runs, 12 RBIs, and 9 runs scored. That was the week leading up to the All-Star break. He can do it all. A strike one pitch on the way, and Pujols takes a strike, and the count 0-2. Albert Pujols, 22 years old. He was 22 in January. He's from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, and his full name is Jose Alberto Pujols. Well put together, 263, 210. Nomo ready, and the strike two pitch is a ground ball to short. Up with it there is Cora, and goes to first in time for the out. One away.
First base number 21.
So Nomo starts off in
Tino.
good style, strikes out Edmonds to end the first inning, and gets Pujols to open up the second. Now Tino Martinez. Tino Martinez, who has a few years on him. He'll be 35 in December. Has not had much luck against Nomo in either league. Last Saturday, Tino Martinez was ejected for the first time as a Cardinal. Nomo ready and delivers. Tino takes outside, ball one. He was kicked out after getting into an argument with first base umpire C.B. Buckner. And it allowed Eduardo Perez the opportunity to play, and Perez hit home runs in 3 straight games, including last night. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way to Tino, and Nomo delivers outside, ball two. Martinez said, "I know better than to get thrown out of a game in the second inning. I don't understand why he did it." Talking about the umpire. So Tino waiting, 2 balls and no strikes. Nomo into the windup. Hideo in quest of his 10th win, and drops low, ball 3, 3-0. So Hideo Nomo has retired 4 in a row. Now the 3-0 pitch on the way. Nomo delivers, and that's in there for a strike, 3-1. Martinez, without a doubt, was the best player in Tampa growing up. He won a Florida high school championship, an MVP award, an Olympic gold medal, and 4 World Series with the Yankees. He swings and hammers it to left for a base hit. So a 1-out single to left by Tino Martinez. Gary Sheffield recalls pitching a high school game against a team that had Luis Gonzalez and Tino Martinez. And Sheffield said you could pitch to Luis, but for Tino it was a man against boys. So Martinez, a line single to left, and the batter Edgar Renteria. Edgar Renteria, one of the better clutch hitters in the league. Might be overlooked until you do some examination. Hitting about .375 in clutch positions. And up there now with a runner at first and 1 out. Nomo looks over at first. Hideo ready and deals, and the first one seemed to cross up Cruder, and he knocked it down in front of home plate. 1 ball and no strikes. So Cruder had a little late movement on that, seemed to bother him a little bit. Edgar Renteria hitting .284, but about .375 with runners in scoring position. Renteria with 4 home runs, 36 runs batted in. Martinez off the bag, held on by Karras. Nomo set, ready, and fires, and that's in the dirt. Gets away from Kruder, who throws to second too late. So 2 pitches in a row. And Kruder unable to handle the one, and then the next one in the dirt, the splitter that kicks away. So Kruder tried to push the ball out in front of the plate, but it angled away from him. He also lost his balance on that hurried throw, so he couldn't get enough on it as he backpedaled. So Martinez at second base on the wild pitch. For Nomo, by the way, he now has 5 wild pitches. He who lives by the splitter, etc., etc. So now Renteria with another challenge. We talked about how good he is with men in scoring position, and he has a runner at second base. Edgar waiting, Nomo set, and the 2-0 pitch swung on, hit just fair, inside third and down the line. Renteria has done it again. So with 1 out and a man in scoring position, Renteria doubles home Martinez, and just like that, the Dodgers are in a hole, 1-0.
Number 26.
Boy, Renteria, a remarkable shortstop. He now has 37 runs batted in. And the Cardinals take a 1-0 lead. And Eli Marrero coming up. Another good thing about this Cardinal ball club, they have people who can play other positions, and Marrero is a classic example. J.D. Drew figured to be the right fielder against all comers, but he's had a bad knee, and Marrero has taken over in right field, coming out from behind the plate. Eli takes ball 1, 1-0. And then late in the game, if Tony La Russa wants to make a double switch, Marrero goes back behind the plate. So technically they have 3 catchers: Matheny, who catches today, DeFelice, who caught last night, and Marrero in the wings. The 1-0 pitch on the way. Eli looks, and that's ball 2 in the count, 2-0. 1-0 in favor of St. Louis, top of the second inning. For the Cardinals, they've won 30 games at home and only 20 on the road, and they're going to be on the road for a while. 18 of 23. Nomo delivers, and he's high, so he's behind now 3-0 to Eli Marrero. Matheny has not been hitting very much. Matheny batting .211, so it wouldn't surprise you at all if they let Marrero take a shot at a 3-0 pitch if he likes the location. Nomo a look back at Renteria. Now the 3-0 pitch coming up. Hideo set and deals, and it's a strike on the outside corner, 3-1. Pitching has gotten the Dodgers into first place, a remarkable recovery from last year, and certainly pitching has gotten the Cardinals into first place. Through the middle of May, their starting rotation with the second worst ERA in baseball. Now they're the second best. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and Nomo delivers, swung on and foul back. And right now the Cardinals are doing it without, of course, forever, their ace Darryl Kyle and Woody Williams, who pitched so very, very well to help beat the Dodgers in St. Louis. Strained a muscle in his side, and Woody is sitting back waiting to heal. And yet they're not missing a beat. 3.5 games in front of Cincinnati. 3-2 the count to Eli Marrero. Nomo a look back at Renteria. Now the right-hander deals, and it is swung on and missed, and down goes Marrero. Strikeout number 2 for Hideo Nomo, and the batter will be Mike Matheny. Matheny has struggled with the bat all the time, and it was time for desperate measures. Last year, Matheny hit .218, so he spent all winter with Andy Van Slyke. Remember Andy, outfielder with Pittsburgh and St. Louis, and Van Slyke was giving him a tutorial as to how to bat left-handed, but it didn't work. Nomo set, and there goes Renteria. The pitch is dropped by Kruder, and Renteria steals it standing up. 1 ball and no strikes. So Renteria got a big jump, and the Dodgers really didn't have much of a chance to get him. And for Kruder, of course, he doesn't pick his spots, and it is a really tough way to come back handling Nomo. 1 ball and no strikes to Matheny. Hideo will look over at Renteria. Now back to the plate, swung on and missed, and the count 1-1. Cardinals already had a man steal home this year. The young outfielder Kerry Robinson stole home a couple of weeks ago. It's in San Diego. But we're not expecting that from Renteria. But nevertheless, he has stolen third. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Nomo at the belt and works Matheny, another strike, and the count 1-2. When Matheny came to spring training, he was pretty optimistic that he could hit left-handed, but it didn't work. So he has stuck right-handed, and he's hitting .211. For Nomo, working hard in the inning, he's made 20 pitches now, and the 1-2 pitch coming up. Hideo ready and fires, and low, and again pushed out in front of the plate by Kruder. So there's a lot of action apparently on those pitches by Nomo. Very, very difficult to handle. Nomo in his game against Arizona went 7 innings and allowed 3 runs, but he made 32 pitches in the first inning in that game. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up to Matheny with the pitcher on deck. Hideo ready. Here he comes. Swung on and missed, and that's that. So Marrero and Matheny strike out. Hideo has 3, but he gives up 1. And at the end of an inning and a half, 1-0 St. Louis. A reminder, the Dodgers are now offering season ticket packages for the second half of the season, and great seats available on all levels, including the popular buy 2 get 2 free areas on the Loge and reserve levels for as little as $20 a game. These packages are only available, however, for a limited time, so we suggest you take advantage of it. Call 1-800-6-DODGER and do it today if you can. Well, the kids are full of beans on this camp day with 7,500 youngsters in attendance. The Cardinals are delighted about camp day as Eric Carroll steps in, followed by Brian Jordan and then Adrian Beltre. The first pitch to Karras, in for a strike. The St. Louis Cardinals playing 18 of 23 on the road, and they get a break with this noon game today. Here's the strike 1 pitch on the way. Half swing for a strike. 0-2. The Cardinals figure to get home tonight, maybe around 11 o'clock St. Louis time. But they go right back out on the road tomorrow about 5 or 6 and go to Pittsburgh and continue the road trip. So they have to be very thankful that they at least get home for a good night's sleep. The strike 2 pitch inside, ball 1. It did not work so for the Dodgers. Not only did the Dodgers play a night game in Arizona, the next day they played a 5 o'clock game in St. Louis, even though they didn't land until 5 o'clock in the morning. The breaking ball is away to Karras, and the count 2-2. So Karras trying to get started, hitting .267 on the homestand. Into the windup goes Bennis. Over the top fastball is fouled away. It hits Karras before trickling down the line, but the ball had hit him, so it was dead. So Karras trying to ignite a spark, get something going. Brian Jordan on deck, and then Adrian Beltre. Well, Sunday the Dodgers look to Kaz Ishii to turn them around after losing 3 in a row to Arizona, and turn them around he did, as the Dodgers won 2-1. And today the Dodgers look to Nomo to bail him out. 2-2 the count to Eric Karras. Into the windup goes Bennis, and his 2-2 pitch is fouled back. Still 2-2. San Diego will be here for the next 2 nights, each game on Fox Sports Net 2. Tomorrow night it'll be Brian Lawrence, a 7-game winner, against Odalis Perez, trying to win his 11th. And then Thursday, Brett Tomko, a 4-game winner, against Andy Ashby. Karras trying to hold up, strikes out on a pitch in the dirt, and the struggle continues. 1 away. Second strikeout for Andy Bennis. So Brian Jordan coming up, and it has really been a struggle for Brian. He has 2 hits, in 17 at-bats during the homestand. 0 for 4 last night. Jordan hitting .266. And the first pitch to Bryan is on the outside corner for a strike. 0-1. So Andy Bennis trying to make the most of an unusually rare start. Fastball and a slider. The strike one pitch on the way. Fouled at the plate and the count 0-2. Andy Bennis does not throw hard anymore. Maybe in the upper 80s. They say he has really struggled with his release point as far as the slider is concerned, and that he is vulnerable to home runs. Well, in his 10 innings, he has given up 3 home runs coming into this game. Strike 2 pitch to Brian Jordan. Half swing, bad swing, badly fooled. So both Karras and Jordan strike out, and the batter is Adrian Beltre. So a breaking ball off the plate, almost in the dirt, and Jordan committed early and couldn't hold up. So now with 2 out, Adrian Beltre. In the strikeout to walk department, that's another very interesting combination, and we always look at it, especially for a visiting pitcher. He misses outside, ball 1. Andy Bennis has a 2.5 to 1 ratio of walks and strikeouts, but the wrong way going into the game. He had 5 strikeouts and 12 walks. Well, he has 3 strikeouts already. And as this game unravels, the better that Bennis pitches, the more we will think of the words of that columnist in St. Louis. The 2-0 pitch is pop foul off to the right, out of play. But what a disgrace it is to the Cardinal organization to pitch Andy Bennis today. I mean, what a rip that was, unsolicited. And so for Tony La Russa, he answers the only way he can. Send the big guy out there and wish him well. The 2-1 pitch is swung on, and there's the drive that's heading to the seats in left center field and gone. So Beltre homered last night, homers now, and the game is even at 1. And it points up what we were talking about with Andy Bennis. He has now given up 4 home runs in 11 innings. For Adrian Beltre, that would be his 10th home run and his 35th run batted in. And if things are going to improve around here, why, if Beltre starts to get his stroke back, a lot of people will be very happy. It was a hanging breaking ball up and out over the plate. Grassolonic buries a line drive foul into the seats down the left field line. Grassolonic is another Dodger who could lift the spirits. Grassolonic had 3 hits last night. So Beltre homers in 2 consecutive games, and Grassolonic showing some signs of coming alive with the bat. 1-1 tie in the 2nd inning. Bennis ready. Andy deals, and the fastball is off the plate. That fastball, by the way, is clocked at 87, 86, right in that neighborhood. Beltre talking to his teammates as Bennis comes back and misses in the dirt. Ball 2. 2-1 the count. DeMar Grassolonic with Hideo Nomo hitting 9th. Chad Kruder is out on deck. So the home run by Beltre pepping up the Dodger dugout a little bit. And the 2-1 pitch is a roller up the middle. To his right goes Vigna, comes up with it and throws him out. Vigna, a Gold Glove at second base, not about to let that get away. Nor did Adrian Beltre. Left a hanging breaking ball get away. And so at the end of 2, it's the Cardinals 1 and the Dodgers 1. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, bringing people together with low fares. By your local Lexus dealer, a new world of luxury. And by SBC, infinite character, SBC. 3rd inning at Dodger Stadium. We have a 1-1 tie. Beltre's home run gets the Dodgers even. after Renteria doubled home Tino Martinez. Andy Benes followed by Fernando Vina and then Placido Polanco. Benes, way back in April, had 4 at-bats and was 1 for 4. Not a bad hitting pitcher either. But of course, after a lengthy layoff, it remains to be seen. Last year, Andy Benes had 3 extra base hits. 0-1. In there. 0-2. 1 run, 2 hits for the Cardinals. 1 run, 1 swing of the bat by Adrian Beltre for the Dodgers. One and 2. Nomo had made 34 pitches in the first 2 innings. And that'll do it for the big guy. 1 away. That is the 3rd consecutive strikeout for Nomo and his 4th strikeout in the game. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Dodgers may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of the game may not be disseminated without the express consent of the Dodgers. Well, here's Vina. Tried to bunt on a 2-1 pitch in the first inning and was thrown out by Chad Kreuter. He has hit .300 in each of his 3 full major league seasons. He failed to hit .300 in 1999. He was out with a strained quadricep. That's when he played for the Milwaukee Brewers. Only 5'9", but a very big man in the Cardinal plan. And drives it to right, but Green comes up to flag it. So Vina, first ball swinging, lines out, 2 down. Vina has been hit by pitches 10 times this year, and he's been kind of worn out. He has been with the Cardinals 2.5 years, and he's been hit 60 times. Now Placido Polanco. Polanco flied to right field in the first inning. Good hitter, and especially starting to use the entire ballpark. He had a 5-hit game against the Dodgers in St. Louis. Right. 0-1. Polanco in last night's game doubled a left and was also robbed of another hit on a diving stop by Grassolani when he had his 5-hit game. He used the whole ballpark. 0-1. 0-2. Polanco had the 5-hit game in the Omar Dahl game. Cardinals scored 12 times total. He had 3 singles to right, 1 single to left, and 1 single to center. That's a guy using the whole ballpark. 0-2. And down he goes. Splitter got him. 5 strikeouts for Nomo. Cardinals gone in order. He's retired 5 in a row. And at the end of 2.5 innings, a 1-1 tie. A reminder tonight at 10, stay tuned for highlights of all of today's sports action. We'll present the Southern California Sports Report. We'll have complete Dodger coverage and a lot more. The Southern California Sports Report coming up tonight at 10. One here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Crowd enjoying a cloudless day directly over the park. Way off in the distance you can see thunderheads, humidity of course around Los Angeles. It was 77 degrees at the start of the day, and there they are like puffy white mountains outlined in the sky above the real mountain. 1-1 to Chad Kreuter. Kreuter reinstated from the 15-day DL on the 12th. He had a contusion to the lower left leg. 1-2 the count. David Ross came up, handled Nomo in his brilliant effort Saturday. Then David went back to Jacksonville knowing that he caught a fine game. And the veteran Kruder back up. 1-2 to Chad. Shot foul, and did I hear the bat crack? I did. Yep. He hit it hard, but you could hear it crack. Only the ear of a terrible hitter, one who is accustomed to breaking bats, can hear it so cleanly and clearly. So Chad has to go and get the rosin bag, actually the cloth that's been dipped in pine tar and rosin. That gives us a chance to tell you Arizona San Francisco scoreless at the end of 2 innings. Randy Johnson and Russ Ortiz. Arizona has 3 hits in the first 2 innings but scoreless. Atlanta leading the Cubs 2-0. Big Kevin Millwood has struck out 9 Cubs through 5 innings. And that's the update. Meanwhile, Dodgers in the dugout watching as Kruder fouls it away. Andy Ashby will be pitching Thursday night against Brett Tomko. Looks like a hand strengthener, a gripper that they have down in the dugout. 1-2. Andy is 7-7, so he'll try and get above the 500 mark. 2-2 the count to Chad Kruder. Bottom of the third, 1-1 tie. Andy Bennis, boy, there was a time when he could really hurry that ball to the plate. 5 years ago, he averaged a strikeout an inning. Ball 3. 3 years ago, he came within a couple of outs of 200 innings. Now he has to really think his way through a game. And he's even 1-1 third inning. When he thinks his way through a game, he's got a lot to rely on. I mean, 150 career wins, 371 starts, 2,500 innings. So Andy Bennis trying to do it more with his head than his arm, and it's 1-1 in the third. Meanwhile, equipment repair, constantly part of life in the big leagues. Stan Johnson working on a glove. And Kruder pulls it foul. That'll carry upstairs, red level, and drop down below. Three and 2 to Chad. He has 1 home run, 9 RBIs. Bennis has made 9 pitches now in this sequence, so Kruder is certainly making them work. 3 and 2. And a fly ball to straightaway center. Jim Edmonds at the other end of it. 1 away.
Pitcher number 10.
That'll bring up Hideo Nomo. Hideo with 2 hits, 2 doubles, 2 runs batted in, and he has struck out close to half the time. Hideo, of course, we'll all remember that big double he hit to help beat Randy Johnson in Arizona. 1 ball, no strikes. (2-0). Well, the scoreboard showed 2-0, and I tell you, that was a deceptive move by Matt Hollowell. We'll go with a 1-1 count. And that's a strike. He punches almost over the right shoulder of the catcher, and it's hard to see. So that would make it 1 and 2. Now you see it, of course. So Nomo strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Andy Bennis, and the batter will be Dave Roberts. Don't forget, the Giants here Friday night at 7:10 to begin a 3-game weekend series. And all fans in attendance will receive a free set of Dodger Wiggle Sticks, compliments of Sports Chalet. Dave Roberts has consumed a little time to let Nomo get back to the dugout. Roberts grounded to short in the first inning. When Nomo pitched against St. Louis in St. Louis, the day was absolutely awful. I think it was 97 degrees with extremely high humidity. It was tough just to be out in it, never mind pitch. And Hideo was brilliant. 7 innings, allowed 1 earned run and 3 hits. Oh boy, if you can pitch in the furnace of Busch Stadium, you can pitch anywhere. Today it was 77 at the start of the game. Bennis making a lot of pitches now. This is number 51. Right. So for a guy who hasn't pitched in a game in 3 months, 50 some odd pitches is a sign to get somebody up in the bullpen. 1-1, third inning. Ball 2. Interesting, even though he hasn't worked in 3 months, he has not walked anybody. Nor have the Dodgers tested his right knee. Remember, we were rather shocked that neither Roberts nor Cora tried to bunt on him in the first inning. 2-1. Ball 3. That fastball 85, which is okay if you have a lot of movement. And that's ball 4. So there's the first walk on a 3-1 pitch. And the batter will be Alex Cora.
Shortstop for 13.
54 pitches now. And I would have to believe that Andy would be on a pitch count. No one throwing in the Cardinal bullpen yet, however. But they are just kind of stirring around. Mike Caudle, the right-hander, going to the ball bag, so he might begin to throw. Dave Roberts has stolen 21 out of 26. And with 2 out and Cora up, they might turn him loose. Cora, a spray hitter, single to right field, however, last night, struck out in the first inning today. Bennis, a big man, is rather slow coming to the plate. He doesn't have a quick delivery. Roberts would appear to be poised and at the ready. And there he goes. Pitch is high. The throw is late. So that certainly figured Roberts would try to go. If you get him to end the inning, you start next inning with Cora, and if he makes it, you got a shot. So 1-1 tie. Dave able to get underneath with a hand, stealing his 22nd out of 27. That was a quick release by Mike Matheny, and a good throw. You can understand why he plays even though he's hitting .210 when you see him make that play. Ball 2 to Cora. Alex trying to pick up his man. He has 11 runs batted in. And Roberts ready to go with 2 out. With Cora, the outfield is not deep. Ball 3. And of course, when you have a line drive hitter like Cora and you have an arm like Jim Edmonds in center, or for that matter Eli Marrero in right or Pujols in left, if they shorten up, that makes it twice as tough to get the man home. For Andy Bennis, he has walked 1, but he's had 4 3-0 counts. And now he's walked Cora. Usually you would think fatigue, the pitcher would have trouble getting the ball down. Usually as the pitcher gets tired, it seems like he releases too early. Bennis has been missing but down, And there's no one throwing in the bullpen as Shawn Green checks in. Now it'll be an interesting thing to see what Shawn Green does. He's been paying attention, and he knows that Andy Benes has missed on 7 consecutive pitches. Now, as he's saying to himself, he's going to try and get ahead of me, going to try and throw a fastball for a strike, and I'm going to be ready. Well, we'll see. Very high and not much on that. 1 ball and no strikes, so that's 8 straight. So a change very high. Green was 0 for 5 coming in against Benes, so he is 0 for 6. 2 on, 2 out, 1-1 third inning. And a ground ball right to Martinez, and that's it. So the Dodgers continue to struggle. No offense. They lead 2. And despite having 11 hits last night, they scored only twice. And at the end of 3, a 1-1 tie. Here's our Aflac trivia question. This year, the Hall of Fame inductee is Ozzie Smith, and he played his last 15 years in the big leagues with the St. Louis Cardinals, the Wizard of Oz. But which team did he play for his first 4 years in the National League? You have any idea? We'll tell you later on. Andy Benes talking to his catcher and puts his head and hands it to say, I've got to stay riveted on you. And apparently his head was bobbing. He was opening up too soon. He made 8 consecutive balls, and then Green hit a ground ball to end the inning. Now Edmonds, Pujols, and Martinez. 1-1 4th inning. Edmonds struck out in the first inning. 1-0. In the 4-game series in St. Louis, Jim Edmonds, as he did last night, hit a home run in the first inning, but before that 4-game series was over, he paid the price. He struck out 9 times. Well, he struck out once today, struck out once last night. One and 1. Hideo Nomo with a record of 9-5. No record against the Cardinals, although in St. Louis he certainly pitched well enough to get a win. He is 5-3 lifetime with St. Louis. Ball 2. What a great rivalry, as we mentioned earlier. The Dodgers and the Cardinals since 1900. The Cardinals have beaten the Dodgers 926 times. The Dodgers have beaten the Cardinals 917 times. A difference of only 9 over all those years. Ball 3. So Edmonds with the count 3-1. Jim has struck out 69 times and walked 41. That's a strike. That quick right-handed punch by Matt Hollowell. Remember the old days when an umpire would actually raise his hand to indicate strike or out? Three and 2. Got him. So Edmonds strikes out twice. 6 strikeouts for Hideo. And the batter will be Albert Pujols.
Albert Pujols.
Splitter. For Nomo, his high in strikeouts 10 way back on May the 1st. The last 2 games he has struck out 5 in each game, so today has 6. And now Pujols, who grounded to short in the 2nd inning. Hideo is coming off an 8-pitch inning in the 3rd. Fouled away. Albert Pujols. Pujols has always been very mature. He grew up in Santo Domingo without his mother and with a father who often left home for long stretches to find work. So he had to grow up in a hurry. One ball and one strike. Pujols' dad used to play baseball, worked at all kinds of odd jobs to help support the family, and as Albert said, I don't know how in the heck we found Kansas City, but that's where the family ended up in an effort to find a better life. A hot shot, a one-hopper to Grassolonic. 2 down.
First base number 21.
So Mark stays with it, and that will bring up Tino Martinez. When Tino Martinez was leaving the Yankees to go to St. Louis, he got a pep talk from Joe Torre, the manager of the Yankees, who had a great career and part of the time spent in St. Louis. Joe Torre played for the Cardinals from 1969 through 74. He was an MVP, and it wasn't any real urging. Joe was just explaining to Tino what was ahead of him. One thing for sure, great fans. Cardinal fans are outstanding. 1-1 to Constantino Martinez from Tampa. And a high fly ball to right. Coming to the line is Green. Makes the catch in fair ground. So that means Nomo has retired 8 in a row. And at the end of 3.5 innings, it remains a 1-1 tie. Remember our Aflac trivia question? Ozzie Smith, 15 years with the Cardinals. But which team did he play for in his first 4 years? You were right if you said the San Diego Padres. Remember the electrifying trade? Ozzie Smith to St. Louis for Gary Templeton. Bottom of the 4th inning, a 1-1 tie. Ball 1 to Eric Karras. Bennis had a lot of trouble throwing strikes in the 3rd inning. Missed on 8 consecutive pitches, but got away with it. 1 ball and no strikes. 2-0. Bennis had made 60 pitches when he went to the mound to start the 4th inning. That's foul. 2-1. Karras stings it, but he knew right away that it was foul. Kind of a, oh my gosh. Sounded good, felt good. Nothing. Two and two. So Bennis is living in the neighborhood of 86, 87 with his fastball. Threw 1 change to Sean Green. It was about 80. Three and two. Remember, Bennis gesturing to his catcher in the dugout. Now he has to keep his head focused on the strike zone, but he's gone to a 3-ball count 5 times now, and Karras might have helped out and chased ball 4. Take a look. Oh yeah, that's way up there.
Good number 33. Brian.
So with a little help from the Dodgers, Bennis now has struck out 5. Dodgers have 1 hit, the home run by Adrian Beltre. And all I can do is think of that Cardinal columnist, St. Louis Cardinal columnist, and what a disgrace it was to the Cardinal organization to pitch Andy Bennis. Of course, what happens is you do that. Now, if the guy pitches well, you say, well, I was really trying to inspire him. Right? 1-0 the count. Jordan struck out in the second inning. Had some bad hacks. 2-0 the count to Brian. Bennis was an 18-game winner for the Cardinals 6 years ago. Twice he won 15 games for San Diego. Hopped in the air, foul. Here comes Matheny on the other side of the screen. 2-1 the count to Brian Jordan. Dodgers 1, Cardinals 1. Bottom of the fourth. Adrian Beltre, who homered, on deck. Fastball fouled off first. Martinez coming over. No play. So Andy Bennis has now made 70 pitches. The old press box wag would say, why not? He's well rested. He hasn't pitched in 3 months. 2-2. Fastball hit to the hole and through. So Brian Jordan gets a fastball down and pulls it into left field. Adrian Beltre is on a little bit of a roll. Last night in the 6th inning, with Karras aboard, he buried one into the bleachers in left center. That for Adrian was his 9th home run. Today, with 2 out and the bases empty, he got a breaking ball and hit it in the bleachers for home run number 10. 35 runs batted in. That tied up the game. And that's where we are. 1-1, 4th inning. Ball 1. One ball and no strikes to Adrian Beltre. Ball 2. Up north, Arizona had loaded the bases with 2 out. Craig Counsell was the batter, and he hit a fly ball to Barry Bonds to end the inning. So it's scoreless up there. We'll keep an eye on it. Two and 0 to Adrian. Fastball in there. So Bennis is big and strong, even if he does have a bad knee. And he's doing very well. 5 strikeouts, a couple of walks, 1 run allowed, 2 hits. That's a strike. Beltre can't believe it. 2-2 the count. Matt Hollowell, a plate umpire, has been a minor league umpire for 7 years. This is his first year in the National League. 2-2. Fastball whacked down the left field line. Chasing the ball is Pujols. They're going to wave Jordan in. The relay to Renteria. No play at the plate. A double by Beltre, and the Dodgers take a 2-1 lead. So a harbinger of good things to come, perhaps, for the Dodgers, as Adrian Beltre, with his home run last night, now a home run and a double today, and the Dodgers lead 2-1. Now they will get someone up in the Cardinal bullpen. With 1 out, Mark Grassolonic will be the batter. So Jordan running easily, waved in by Glenn Hoffman. Renteria was the cutoff and relay man, but he held on to it. He didn't have a play. Down in the bullpen, left-hander Mike Matthews begins to loosen up. So Jordan is in the dugout with a go-ahead run. Adrian Beltre standing at second base now has 36 runs batted in. The plate umpire Matt Hollowell is waiting for the second base umpire Mark Hirschbeck, and now Hirschbeck had been in the Dodger dugout to get a drink of water. He also has something to say to Andy Bennis. Okay, we're ready. Fernando Vina visiting with Beltre for the moment. Dave Duncan, the pitching coach for the Cardinals, on the phone to the bullpen. Mike Matthews is warming up. And here's Grassolani, grounded out in the second inning. And a fly ball to left field. It is playable. Pujols is there. That's the second out, and Beltre holding at second base. And the batter will be Chad Kreuter.
Chad Kreuter.
So Beltre, who has knocked in both runs, giving the Dodgers the 2-1 lead. 2 out, 4th inning. Kreuter, after 9 pitches, flied to center in the 3rd inning. The last inning, and it might be a tip-off on why he's struggling now, and they're going to walk Kreuter intentionally. In the 3rd inning, Bennis made 25 pitches. So he will walk Kreuter, and in a moment Hideo Nomo. It'll be the 3rd walk given up by Bennis. Hideo Nomo struck out in the 3rd inning. Bennis is due to bat 4th when the Cardinals hit in the 5th inning. So 2 on, 2 out. 21 pitches made so far in the inning. 46 pitches in the last 2 innings, and all of a sudden they're starting to pile up on him. That's 81 pitches in 4 innings. And as big as Bennis is, he's been working awfully hard. So Nomo 0 for 1. Right. Two on, 2 out. 2-1 Dodgers. We talked about him last night. A good hitting pitcher. Pretty good nominee would be Don Newcomb in his days with the Dodgers, especially 1955. In 1955, Don Newcomb hit 7 home runs, hit .359, and had 23 RBIs. Well, Beltre's doing the job, and at the end of 4, 2-1 Dodgers. Here's what's left of the homestand. 2 with the Padres on Fox Sports Net 2. Friday night on UPN 13 with the Giants. The network channel 11 on Saturday afternoon. Exclusively on radio on Sunday at 5:10. On Fox Sports AM 1150 with Ross Porter and Rick Monday. And on KWKW 1330 AM. Jaime Jarrín and Pepe Iniguez. 5th inning. 2-1 in favor of the Dodgers. Cardinals will have Renteria, Marrero, and Matheny, with Andy Bennis due up 4th. Well, Bennis has certainly not disgraced himself at all, to use the verb that we used in St. Louis. He has held the Dodgers to 2 runs and 3 hits. Cardinals 1 run, 2 hits. Renteria with a runner in scoring position is absolute dynamite. And Renteria found that situation in the second inning and doubled in the runner. And base hit up the middle. So the tying run is aboard with nobody out.
Right field,
and the
number
batter
26.
will be Eli Marrero.
Eli Marrero.
So Renteria 2 for 2. Nomo has allowed 1 run and 3 hits. Eli Marrero struck out in his only at bat in the second inning, followed by Mike Matheny. There goes the runner, hit and run, base hit into right field. So Renteria moving to third on a perfectly executed base hit on a hit and run play. And now the Cardinals are really in business. First and third, nobody out. And the batter will be Matheny and Eduardo Perez. So Marrero just went out there. His hips were in the Cardinal dugout, but he just hit the outside pitch for the base hit. Of course, Tony La Russa will probably put the hit and run play on more than any other manager in the National League. And you can back that up. Last year, he had the best success percentage, first in the league in hit and run. So he hadn't lost the charm. 0-1 to Matheny. Matheny struck out in the second inning. Big Perez, who has homered in 3 straight games, on deck to pinch hit for Andy Bennis. Oh, 0-1. A lot of pressure as Bennis sits back. A lot of pressure on Chad Kruder with that splitter of Nomos and a runner like Renteria at third. 0-1. One ball, one strike. Up north, Barry Bonds doubled off the center field wall, and the Giants have taken a 1-0 lead against the D-backs. That's a Randy Johnson game against Russ Ortiz. Renteria at third, Marrero at first, nobody out. 2-1 Dodgers, 5th inning. There goes the runner. The pitch inside. They throw down. Holding at third is Renteria. And there are runners at second and third as Marrero steals second. So La Russa really coming after the battery of Nomo and Kruder. Played hit and run and now a steal of second. So second and third, nobody out on a 2-1 count on Mike Matheny. Two balls, one strike. Fouled away, 2-2. Nomo with a half a dozen strikeouts so far in the ball game, so he would certainly like to put Matheny on the shelf. Matheny has struck out almost twice as much as he has walked. Now Nomo has made 60 pitches. 2-2. And a little roller. Grassolonic was deep, so the time run scores. Over to third goes Marrero. So Matheny hits a ground ball and gets his man home. So 2-2. Now Perez coming up to bat for Bennis.
Number 33.
Eduardo Perez last night unloaded. Last night he started the game, came up in the 6th inning and crushed one against Omar Dahl just over the wall, almost caught by Dave Roberts. So Andy Bennis goes out tied. He could even win the game. Well, wait a minute. He can't do anything. He didn't go the required 5. This is only the top of the 5th inning. So hold everything on that. But he certainly can't lose. 2-2 with a runner at third, 1 out in the 5th inning. Tony Perez's son Eduardo hitting only 169. Feast or famine. He has 6 home runs, 14 runs batted in. Infield up with 1 out. And popped in the air foul. Karras. So Perez comes off the bench to foul out. 2 down, and Fernando Vina coming up.
Second baseman, number 4,
Fernando Vina has been thrown out trying to bunt for a base hit and flied to right. So Vina hitting in 270. Struggling in the month of July. Of course, that was the worry even when he was playing for Milwaukee, that he might not be strong enough to play a full year. Well, he has proven his case. Vina's 5'9", about 170 pounds, and plays every day. Ball 1. So Nomo is even. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Beltre with a home run and a double has knocked in both runs. 1-0. 1-1. Vina's tough. He has had close to 400 plate appearances, and he has only struck out 22 times. So he's tough to strike out, and he's also tough to walk. Down the line from third comes Marrero. 1-1. 1-2 splitter. And a bunt. Nomo fields it, throws on a bounce, and Karras stayed with it. So Vina, who started the game with a bunt, almost got away with that one. Nomo, bad throw, and Karras able to stay with a tricky hopper that came right up into his glove. So a go-ahead run is left at third, and at the end of 4 1/2, a 2-2 tie. Cardinals 2, Dodgers 2 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Protecting the tie, you have to call this. Vina, a 2-strike bunt, and Nomo's hurried bad throw, and Karras saved the moment. So Nomo easily could have had the go-ahead run score, and Vina was just nipped at first base. So now a new pitcher. It'll be Mike Matthews. Kevin Brown in the Dodger dugout. The drag bunt, a 1-hopper to Martinez for the out, and just like that, 1 away. So it's interesting. Andy Bennis goes to the mound. He's got a bad knee. He hadn't played in 3 months, and we're saying, gosh, you know, I can't believe that Roberts and/or Cora wouldn't bunt on him. And so they bring in a new pitcher, and then Roberts bunts. But maybe Davey was so concentrating he didn't realize they had changed pitchers. Anyway, 1 out. 2-2, bottom of the 5th. Here's Cora. Struck out and walked, 0 for 1. Matthews 2-0 with the league. That's a strike. doesn't figure that Mike Matthews would be in the game very long. He's been in 31 games, a total of 28 innings. So he's brought in especially to get Roberts, Cora, and Green, all left-hand batters. Oh, 0-2 the count. Luther Hackman, the right-hander who started against the Dodgers in St. Louis. Boy, Cora really fooled. Down he goes. So Hackman is getting ready
15.
to pick up once Matthews is finished with the left-hander. Sean Green grounded out twice, 0 for 2 with a little 6-game hitting streak. Against Matthews, 1 for 5 in the past. Two runs, 4 hits for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. 2 of those hits by Adrian Beltre. A 2-out home run and a double to knock in the other Dodger run. One ball and 1 strike to count. High drive into deep center. Edmonds goes back to the track at the wall and makes the catch for the out. So the Gold Glover does it again, and he does it against the Dodgers with his bat, with his arm, and with his glove. And at the end of 5, a 2-2 tie. It was a famous song this time of that year in 1941. Something about he set the baseball streak that set the world aglow. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da, Jolting Joe DiMaggio. Well, on this day, the Yankees were playing Cleveland. DiMaggio went 3 for 4 to extend his streak to 56 straight. Then the next day, on July the 17th, the streak was stopped. A pitcher by the name of Jim Bagby did it, and a third baseman named Ken Keltner really took some hits away on this day in 1941. Let's go back to our game. Two tie. Dodgers and Cardinals in their final meeting of the year, and it figured to be a good one. Placido Polanco up there, 1 ball and no strikes. He has flied to right and struck out, 0 for 2. Two and 0 the count. And now Nomo behind 3-0. Hideo has had a wild pitch, but he has not walked a batter while striking out 6. After Polanco, the big guys, Edmonds and Pujols. In there, 3-1. Kazashi had to pitch his heart out to beat Arizona 2-1. Now his fellow countryman Hideo Nomo pitching another tough game, 2-2 in the 6th. Big chopper to Beltre. So Polanco grounds to third. Say, friends, a reminder this week on Fox Saturday Baseball, Barry Bonds and the Giants will be here taking on Sean Green and the Dodgers, and certainly a big battle between the National League Western contenders. It all begins this weekend. Check your local listings for the start time in your area. And of course, it really begins Friday night. Jim Edmonds. Struck out twice and made that dazzling catch of the long fly ball hit by Sean Green. Off speed. Edmonds has struck out 3 consecutive times. He struck out in the 8th inning last night, and Nomo has gotten him twice today. 0-1. Edmonds hitting .317, so no matter how many times he strikes out, he is quite a threat every time coming up. He's right up there in the top 10 in batting average, slugging, and on base percentage, so he's handled with care. And he strikes out 4 times in a row, 3 times today. And Nomo now with 7 strikeouts. And the batter will be Albert Pujols. So Edmonds has struck out 9 times and still hurt the Dodgers in the 4-game series in St. Louis. Has struck out 4 straight, and he has still hurt the Dodgers here with a home run, a great throw, and a great catch. Pujols 2 ground balls to short and second, 0 for 2. Ball 1. When the Dodgers bat in the 6th inning, they'll have Karras, Jordan, and Beltre. Got the picture. One ball and no strikes. Ball 2. Cardinals scored in the 2nd inning. Renteria doubled in Martinez. Beltre homered in the 2nd to tie it up. Beltre doubled in Jordan to give the Dodgers the lead in the 4th inning, where the Cardinals came back on a couple of singles and a ground ball to tie it up. That's a strike. 2-1. Two and 1 to Albert Pujols. Tino Martinez on deck. That's in there. 2-2. Up north, Steve Finley had a sacrifice fly ball that picked up Mark Grace to tie up the game. 1-1 Arizona San Francisco. Chad Moeller just doubled in 2 more. So in the 5th inning, Arizona leading the Giants 3-1. Chopper wide of third, big hop. Cora, a high throw. Alex Cora might have had a little extra trouble because Beltre was trying to handle it, and Beltre looked like he came right in front of him. He did. That shouldn't bother him. But then Cora cranked it up and overthrew. So it'll be an error charge to Alex Cora, and Tino Martinez will be the batter. Martinez single left, fly to right. Constantino Martinez from Tampa. 2 down, top of the 6th. 2-2 tie. And that's going to be hit at the shortstop. Cora, and the inning is over. No runs, no hits, 1 error, a man left. And at the end of 5.5 innings, Dodgers 2, Cardinals 2. Cardinals 2, bottom of the 6th inning. On the scoreboard, Arizona picked up 3 in the 5th inning at the expense of Russ Ortiz, so Randy Johnson is leading by 2 in the bottom of the 5th inning. Colorado, San Diego later on. The Mets knocked off Florida again, and the Cubs are losing to Atlanta 2-0 in the 9th inning. In that ball game, it started Millward and Lieber. Pittsburgh, Houston scoreless in the 3rd. Philadelphia, Montreal later on, and the same story, Cincinnati, Milwaukee at 5:05. Luther Hackman coming out of the bullpen. So certainly it has gone according to Hoyle for Tony La Russa. He brought his left-hander Mike Matthews in to go after the left-hand hitters Roberts, Cora, and Green, and he got them all. Now he'll bring his right-hander in to face Karras, Jordan, and Beltre. Luther Hackman, with a record of 1-3, started a game against the Dodgers in St. Louis, but he was ineffective and came out. Hackman started and gave up 4 runs in 2 innings. Eric Karras at the plate, pops it up. It will be the third baseman Polanco. So Karras, who struck out twice, first ball swinging, pops up, 1 out, and the batter Brian Jordan.
Left fielder, number 33, Brian Jordan.
So the last meeting of the year between these two, and it figured to be a good one. Brian Jordan struck out and single to left, 1 for 2. Ball 1. Two runs, 4 hits for the Cardinals, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Boy, the right field bleachers looks like cheering sections of a lot of college football teams. Either that or a painter's palette. It's a magnificent mix of colors on camp day. 7,500 youngsters on Dodger Stadium camp day. And how great to have them here. 1-2 to Brian Jordan. So Luther Hackman, a sometime starter, mostly a reliever. Hackman a hold man right now. Roberts and his tourists sitting side by side in the Dodger dugout as Hackman goes to work. And so Jordan doesn't get it. He strikes out a second time. And the batter will be Adrian Beltre. Don't forget those season ticket packages for the second half. Still available on all levels. The buy 2 get 2 free areas on the Lowe's and reserve levels for as little as $20 a game. Packages available for a limited time. So give us a call, 1-800-6-DODGER, or check our website, Dodgers.com. Boys and girls together. Ball 1 to Adrian Beltre. Beltre, a home run in the second, a double to drive in a run in the 4th to keep it a 2-2 tie. Right. Luther Hackman is a big man. He's 6'4", over 195 pounds, out of Columbus, Mississippi. Came to the Cardinals from the Rockies with Darryl Kyle and Dave Beers. Line drive to left field. Pujols comes up to grab it. So they finally get Beltre, but it's a tough out. So Hackman does his job, and at the end of 6, Dodgers 2, Cardinals 2. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by the Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California and by Pennzoil. We're driving protection. We're going to the 7th inning in a 2-2 tie on a glorious afternoon here at Dodger Stadium. Hideo Nomo, hanging tough, gave up a run on a single by Martinez and a double by Renteria, and a couple of base hits and a ground ball out in the 5th inning. He has made 80 pitches while striking out 7. He has not walked a batter. And now it'll be Renteria, Marrero, and Matheny. Ball one. So Renteria, Marrero, Matheny, and if anybody gets on, Luther Hackman. Line drive off the glove of Cora. Boy, that thing was really stung. Jordan quickly recovers. So a bullet for a base hit by Edgar Renteria, leading off the 7th inning. And remember, just to give Nomo something extra to think about, Renteria stole third back in the 2nd inning. And as a leadoff man, he has stolen 11 out of 16. So a bullet off the glove of Cora, and the batter, Eli Marrero. Now, they played hit and run with this combination in the 5th inning. And Marrero singled to right field. And as we said, La Russa has the highest percentage of success putting on the hit and run of any manager in the league. Little foul, 0-1. Dave Beers throwing down in the bullpen. Arizona leading the Giants 3-1 in the 5th. We're tied 2-2 in the 7th. On 1. Nomo, by the way, is due to bat third when the Dodgers hit in the bottom of this 7th inning. But now the battle within the war. The Dodgers thinking, would Tony La Russa put the hit and run play again? If so, since Nomo has not walked anybody, do we call a pitch out? There he goes. Hit and run is on. Line drive, base hit. Gobbled up by Roberts, but they've done it again. 2 in a row where they put the hit and run play on with Eli Marrero, and each time a base hit to right and now a line drive single to center. Cora trying to decoy Renteria and make him stop at second base. He would have been toast had he even tried to go to third, but he had lost sight of the ball. Now he picks it up and goes to the bag and holds on. So a good fake with Cora and Grassolanic putting the squeeze on Renteria. But just like that, Nomo in trouble again with the same combination. 2 hit and run plays executed perfectly. 2 on, nobody out, and now Matheny. And that's a signal for the Dodgers down in the bullpen to move around and get up. You'll watch Renteria saying, I didn't see the ball. I had no idea where it was. He's talking to Alex Cora. So Renteria is at second, but Jim Colburn is going out to the mound. Jesse Orozco and Guillermo Mota begin to throw in the Dodger bullpen. Although Colburn does not make pitching changes, he's out there to instruct. 2 runs, 6 hits for the Cardinals, 2 runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. And we're in the 7th inning. All right, Colby has had his say, goes back to the dugout. The Dodgers look bunt. And also with Beers throwing in the pen, you know that La Russa is thinking hitter for Hackman. And he has Miguel Cairo on deck. So we'll see if Matheny can get the bunt down. He has 4 sacrifices this year, so he's pretty handy with the bat. A fake by Nomo. Renteria and Marrero out there with nobody out. Now Matheny double checking with Jose Aquindo to bunt or not to bunt. The bunt is in the air, foul, and drops untouched. 0-1 the count to Mike Matheny. So 2 hit-and-run plays. Dave Roberts charging that line drive and just did come up with it. That was a tough play. Cora will try to fake as much as he can to try and take a step away from Renteria. No balls, 1 strike. Karras ready to charge the plate. Beltre caddy corner. And the bunt. Nomos plays to third, and he almost threw it away and does. For a moment it looked like Beltre would get his glove on it. So Nomo, who made a terrible throw and was saved by Karras in the 5th inning, makes an even worse throw. 2-run score, and the Cardinals lead 4-2. And Nomo is not finished yet because Matheny is at second. He had a play at third base, and as he turned and fired, a leaping try by Beltre, but all he could do was slow it down. And by the time Jordan retrieved, Nomo had given the Cardinals 2 runs. It'll be a sacrifice error 1 with 2 runs scoring, and the Dodgers now in a bad way to go. 4-2 St. Louis. Renteria along with Marrero score. Miguel Cairo was out on deck, but they call him back, and now that they're leading, they'll keep Luther Hackman in the game. In fact, with nobody out, they'll no doubt ask Hackman to bunt. He has not sacrificed this year, but he's only had 3 at-bats. So the Dodgers commit 2 errors today. One was all right, but that was a huge one. Instead of an out, runners at first and second. There are 2 runs in and a runner at second base. So the Dodger woes continue, at least for the moment. And here's Hackman at the plate. Another bunt situation. Ball 1. For Nomo, that throwing error was his second, and he was saved from yet an error on the play by Eric Karras. 1 ball and no strikes. Hackman showing bunt. 1-1 the count. So in the inning, Renteria single allowed. For the second time in 2 innings, La Russa put the hit-and-run play on, and for the second time he was successful as Marrero singled Renteria to second base. And then Matheny sacrifices. Nomo throws it away, and the Cardinals pick up 2 to take a 4-2 lead. Meanwhile, as we said, it was 3-1 in favor of Arizona, and they're now in the 6th inning. Hackman fouling the bunt back. 1-2 the count. Dodgers and Cardinals split 4 in St. Louis. Cardinals won last night. So of the 6 meetings, Cardinals have the edge 3-2 going into this one. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And the bunt is down, and Cooter lets it go foul, and that'll do it for Hackman. So Hackman strikes out trying to bunt. And the batter now will be Fernando Vina with 1 out.
Second baseman, number 4.
So Nomo, having given up the 2 runs, you figure this is certainly his last inning, due to bat third in the bottom of the 7th. Fernando Vina twice has tried to bunt, leading off the ball game, and then in the 5th inning, with a runner at third and 2 out, he tried to bunt for a base hit, And that's when Nomo made a bad throw, and Karras somehow or other came up with it to save a run. And then his second bad throw, Beltre tried but could only slow it down. Sylvania 0 for 3, having bunted twice. First ball swinging, foul ball. Beltre and Cora. It is Cora. So a nice play by Alex to make the catch for the second out. And Placido Polanco coming up.
Third baseman, number 27. Placido.
Polanco is 0 for 3. Flied to right, struck out, and grounded out. Well, of course, we'll never really know how the inning would have gone. But had they gotten the out at third, and they certainly had a shot, Nomo might be out of the woods. We'll never know. It's 4-2 St. Louis, 2 out in the 7th. Polanco 0 for 3. Ball 1. So 2 successful hit and run plays by the Cardinals in the 5th and in the 7th. One and 0. That's fouled upstairs off to the right. 1 ball and 1 strike to count. Polanco came into the ball game hitting .291. 0 for 3. Flied to right, struck out, grounded to third. Slap over the head of Karras and down the line. So that will cash in Matheny. A double for Polanco. That makes it a 3-run inning. And the Dodgers now are down 5-2 in the 7th. So the play at third base is huge, and here comes Jim Tracy, and that's going to be all for Nomo. They were going to bat for him, but too many runs have come over and forced Tracy's hand. Jesse Orozco will be brought in. Even though Nomo has struck out Jim Edmonds 3 straight times, Orozco will be brought in to face him. Out goes Hideo, and we'll be back.
Your attention, please. Coming pitch for the
Hideo Nomo allowing only 2 earned runs. However, his own error helped to give the Cardinals 3 more. So he winds up going out 6 2/3 innings, trailing 5-2. He hadn't lost since May the 12th, and he's down by 3 and will no longer have anything to do with the ball game. So Orozco will find it very difficult to improve on Nomo's work against Edmonds. Edmonds struck out in the 1st inning, struck out in the 4th inning, struck out in the 6th inning, struck out in the 8th inning last night. Orozco pitching to Edmonds. Edmonds is 2 for 15 with 1 home run. That'd be a 135 batting average. 2 out. Polanco at second. 5-2 St. Louis. Ball 1. For Orozco, interestingly enough, a situational left-hander normally asked to get left-handers out. He's been more successful against right-handers. Left-handers have hurt him. Fouled away. 1-1 the count. Two out in the 7th, 5-2 St. Louis. San Diego here tomorrow night and Thursday night, and the Giants on the weekend. And talking about the Giants, Barry Bonds just hit a home run against Randy Johnson. So it is 3-2 Arizona. That's a strike. Throw down, not in time. 1-2 the count to Jim Edmonds. Barry Bonds, 28th home run of the year. Lance Berkman and Sammy Sosa have 29. 1-2 to Edmonds. Polanco at second base with 2 out. So the Dodgers giving the Cardinals 4 outs in the inning, and they are certainly paying the price for it. And so Edmonds strikes out yet again, striking out 4 times in the game. However, the damage more than done. And at the end of 6 1/2, 5-2 St. Louis. Now for a sports update, let's go to the Fox Sports Net studio. What a sight and what a sound. Camp day at Dodger Stadium. Take me out to the ball game. So far, it's the Cardinals game. It is 5-2 St. Louis. It'll be Grassolonic, Kruder, and then a hitter for Orozco, we believe. And that's ball 1. Grassolonic grounded out and flied out, 0 for 2. Bennis, Matthews, and Hackman. Dave Hansen in the dugout at the ready. 2-0 to Mark. Luther Hackman following Mike Matthews after Andy Bennis went to the mound for the first time in 3 months and went 4 innings and held the Dodgers to 2 runs and 3 hits. That's a strike. 2-1. Left-hander Steve Klein down in the Cardinal bullpen in case they need him. 2-1 to Grassolonic. That's a strike. Up north, Arizona leading the Giants 3-2. Bonds just hit a home run to get close. Fouled away. Cesar Izturis with a bat in his hands. Iram Boca Chica at the ready along with Dave Hansen and Jeb Rebele. So everybody waiting for a call. Fouled off. The Grassolonic still there. 2-2. San Diego here tomorrow night. The Dodgers and the Padres have played some tough ball games. They have already played each other 7 times, and the Dodgers have a very slight edge, 4-3. Chad Kruder waiting on deck. Fouled away again. Tomorrow night, Odalis Perez on the mound for the Dodgers against Brian Lawrence. Thursday night, Andy Ashby against Brett Tomko. 2-2. And a fly ball to left and shallow. Pujols was deep, and it's going to drop. So Albert Pujols playing very deep in left field. Grassolonic pop fly single to open up matters in the 7th inning. For the Dodgers, only their 4th hit. And the batter, Chad Kruder, flied to center and walked intentionally. So Cesar Turris comes out on deck with Kruder the batter. And a fly ball to left field. Pujols is there. So 1 out as Kruder goes deep to left. Grassolonic holding. Is Turris coming up. The Giants will be here over the weekend, Friday night, Saturday and Sunday. Saturday's 1:10 game. All fans in attendance receive a Dodgers foam finger. Compliments of Adelphia.
Number 3, Cesar Turris.
So here is Turris batting for Orozco. Now Dave Duncan going out to the mound to talk to Hackman about how they like to pitch Turris. Just a little refresher course. Turris this year has certainly done nothing with the bat against the Cardinals, hitting just 143 against them. And of course, for Cesar to come up and hit left-handed, that's giving away a lot. 100 points from one side of the plate to the other. 1 out, 1 on. 7th inning, 5-2 St. Louis. Ball 1. Dodger pinch hitters have done a tremendous job for the club. They lead the National League with an overall .282 batting average. 1 ball and no strikes. Dave Hansen, Iram Bocachica, Alex Cora, Jeb Rebele, they have all done a great job. Ball 2, 2-0. So Luther Hackman pitched the 6th inning, retired the side in order. Now he has a man aboard with 1 out. 2-0. On deck, Dave Roberts. That's a strike. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Cardinals. Only 2 earned, but of course they all count. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. Ground ball off the glove of Martinez, and everybody is aboard. Tino was in a hurry to make a play at second base and just let the ball get away. So last night the Dodgers had a big break in the 9th inning on the error by Isringhausen. Now they get an error from Tino Martinez, and the Dodgers have 2 on. For Martinez, only the 2nd error that he has made this year. And Dave Roberts coming up. So trying to field it and throw. And now hold everything. La Russa says that's enough. I've got Roberts hitting. I've got a left-hander in the bullpen. I want my left-hander. So Steve Klein will be called in to pitch to Roberts with 1 out in the 7th inning. And we'll see whether the Dodgers will have Grissom bat for Roberts or not. We'll be back right after this. Dodgers will have Marquise Grissom bat for Dave Roberts against the left-hander Steve Klein. Grissom is 3 for 7. That's a .429 batting average going head-to-head against Klein in the past. And after Grissom, Alex Cora is due up. And of course, among others, the ace in the hole in the Dodger dugout would be Paul Lo Duca. So we'll see.
Attention, please.
So Klein and Grissom locking up. 1 out, 2 on, 5-2 Cardinals, 7th inning. So here's Grissom. Steve Klein is a workhorse. 0-1 in his 31st game. Strike. 0-1. Marquise Grissom batting .266. 10 home runs, 34 RBIs. 1 ball and 1 strike. So at second base, Mark Grasolonic, and at first, Cesar Izturis. On deck is Alex Cora, and you have the feeling that the Dodgers would hit for Cora, but they're not going to get a chance. That's a double play ball. So no runs, 1 hit, an error, a man left, and at the end of 7, the Cardinals 5 and the Dodgers 2.
59.
Cardinals holding on to a 5-2 lead. The difference 3 unearned runs. Coming up, the San Diego Padres tomorrow night. Brian Lawrence and Odalis Perez. Thursday night, Brett Tomko and Andy Ashby.
Albert Pujols.
Marquise Grissom, who came off the bench to ground into a double play, stays in the game in center field for Dave Roberts. And on the mound, Guillermo Mota will pick up the pitching. Mota has been a very, very pleasant surprise, and as it shows, an ERA of less than 1.5 in his last 12 games. Throws hard, 14 strikeouts in 18 innings, and he is asked to quiet the Cardinals in the 8th inning. 5 runs, 7 hits for St. Louis, 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. The paid attendance today, 37,988. That's about 7,000 more than we had last night. And of course, we have 7,500 youngsters here. That's really the difference. There is no difference up north. It's a 3-3 tie. Home runs by Barry Bonds and Reggie Sanders have gotten the Giants even with Randy Johnson. So here we go to the 8th. Albert Pujols, Tino Martinez, and Edgar Renteria. Dodgers having a rough 11-game homestand. If they are unable to come from behind, they will have lost 5 out of 6 on the stand with 5 to go. 2 with San Diego and 3 with the Giants, who are certainly making noises. Giants began the day a game and a half behind the Dodgers. 1 ball, 1 strike. Ball 2. And of course, what it all means is great excitement for all of us who love the game, and an exciting pennant race. 3 teams playing musical chairs, perhaps right down to the wire. Over 2 months to go. 3-1 to Pujols. Grounded to short, grounded to second, reached on an error by Cora. Albert 0 for 3, batting .290. Ball 4. That is the first walk given up by a Dodger pitcher. Nomo went 6 2/3 and did not walk anybody. Orozco struck out Edmonds, the only man he faced. So now Mota gives up the walk, and here's Tino Martinez. Off the hook in the 7th when Grissom hit into the double play. Tino with the bat, single to left, scored a run, flied to right, and lined out to short. Right. 0-1. And that's hit in the air to right. Coming in a hurry is Green, making believe he was going to catch it, but that didn't fool Pujols. He went all the way to third. So a little fly ball single, and now Mota's in a mess.
Shortstop, number 3.
And Edgar Renteria, 3 for 3, and dynamite with a man in scoring position coming up. Renteria doubled home Martinez in the second inning, led off the 5th inning with a single to center, led off the 7th inning with a single to left. And Renteria has knocked in 1 and scored 2, having a big day. Another 3-hit game. So Renteria batting .291. Sliced foul out of play. 0-1 to count. When the Dodgers bat in the bottom of this 8th inning, they are due to send up Cora, Green, and Karras. Standing at third, Albert Pujols. Over at first, Tino Martinez. Nobody out. Oh, 0-2 to Renteria. Hitting better than .375 with runners in scoring position. Renteria is yet just another force in the Cardinal lineup. Oh, 0-2. And base hit. He does it. It seems like every time you get a man in scoring position, Renteria gets a base hit. He also has a 4-for-4 game today, and it is 6-2 in favor of a very, very good St. Louis ball club.
Number 26, Eli Marrero.
So Mota comes in, gives up 2 singles and a walk for a run. Jim Colburn going out to talk to the young right-hander, and the batter will be Eli Marrero. Terry Mulholland gets up down in the Dodger bullpen. Six runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 4 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. It's been Nomo who pitched exceptionally well and then undid all his good work with a throwing error that brought in 2 additional runs. Then Mota has come in to give up a run. So it is 6-2 St. Louis. A walk followed by consecutive singles. The batter is Marrero. Twice Tony La Russa put the hit and run play on with Marrero, and each time he was successful. He singled to right to send Renteria to third in the 5th inning, single to center to send Renteria to second in the 7th. Now he has 2 on and nobody out. Ball 1. So the Cardinals have done everything asked of them, except perhaps for the error by Martinez, and the Dodgers have not. For Edgar Renteria, with 4 hits in a game, that's old news. It's the 9th time in the young career of Edgar Renteria that he has had 4 hits in a game. 9 times. The boy from Barranquilla in Colombia. 1 ball, no strikes. A drive to left down the line, hooking in the corner, foul. 1 ball, 1 strike. So Marrero struck out back in the 2nd inning. 2 for 3 on the afternoon. So Martinez has 2 hits, Renteria has 4, and Marrero has 2. That's 8 of the 9 hits back to back. The other hit, Polanco, had a double. And the only runs for the Dodgers knocked in by Adrian Beltre. 1-1. Bunt foul. 1-2. The Cardinals began the day 3.5 games in front of the Cincinnati Reds. That's a season high. And for the Cardinals, they have been alone or tied for first for a month, going back to June the 16th. They are 11 games over 500, trying to get to 12 for the first time. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Eli Marrero. Chased and missed. So Marrero strikes out twice, but he had a good day with the bat. Those 2 hit and run singles were big plays. And the batter now will be Matheny. So that's the way the Central looks. The Cardinals, among other things, have beaten up Houston. They've beaten them 9 out of 12. They've beaten San Diego 5 out of 6. And it's been pretty much of a struggle with everybody else. With Cincinnati, the Cardinals are 7-5. Ground foul outside of third. 0-1. Matheny struck out and grounded out, and then the biggest play of the day. With 2 on and nobody out, Matheny bunted to Nomo, who definitely had a play at third, only to throw it away. A drive to left, down the line, in the corner, and it's going to go fair up into the seats. That'll score 1 run to make it 7-2 St. Louis. So Matheny doubles in Martinez. And for Guillermo Mota, this is not his day after being so successful so often. He's been roughed up for a walk, 2 singles, and a double. So 3 hits and a walk, 2 runs in the inning. Cardinals have scored 7 times in the last inning and a third. And the batter due up would be Steve Klein, and Miguel Cairo will now come up and bat for Klein. Dave Veers down in the bullpen, perhaps, to pitch the 8th. Isringhausen normally does the closing. So Miguel Cairo will hit for Klein. Mike Caudle is throwing down in the bullpen. So Crudale loosening up. Miguel Cairo at one time in the Dodger organization. So the infield has to play up with 1 out. Renteria at third. Matheny at second. Foul ball. So it is Crudale who answers the call. It's been Bennis, Matthews, Hackman, Klein, and then right-hander Mike Crudale. Oh, 0-1 to Miguel Cairo, who at one time was in the Dodger organization. Hits a pop fly to right. Tagging up is Renteria. Green for the catch, and Renteria is not coming on a good throw to the plate. So Cairo a fly ball, and of course it's interesting, Cairo hits a fly ball to right. The Dodgers had a big break when Cairo dropped a fly ball to right, trying to make the catch and throw. Green did it all right out of the textbook, and a perfect 1-hopper, although Renteria had no idea of trying to come in on that little fly ball. So Fernando Vina, the 7th man to come up. He is 0 for 4. He has tried to bunt twice and was thrown out each time. So second and third, 2 outs, 7-2 St. Louis in the 8th. That's a strike. Vina came into the game leading all second basemen in the league with 34 runs batted in. Renteria down the line from third. Matheny at second. 1-1. 7 runs, 10 hits for St. Louis. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers. One and one. Ball 2. And that's hit to center, and Grissom has a long way to go, and he can't get it. It'll go all the way to the wall. 2-run score to make it 9-2 St. Louis, and Vigna into third with a triple. And for Vigna, his third triple, and the Cardinals now have broken the game wide open, scoring 7 times in the last 2 innings. So they were shading Vigna a little bit to left center, and the ball went to right center, and Grissom could not get back there. So that's all for Mota as Jim Tracy makes another sad trip to the mound. So it is a blowout. The Cardinals leading 9-2. Mota is done. Terry Mulholland will be called in, and we'll be back. Leading the Dodgers 9-2. Mark Grace has just doubled in 2 runs up at Pac Bell, and Arizona has taken a 5-3 lead against San Francisco. So the Dodgers began the day a half a game in front of Arizona, but they are in a bad way to go here. 9-2 Cardinals. Placido Polanco will be facing Terry Mulholland. 9 runs, 11 hits for the Birds. 2 runs, 4 hits for the Dodgers, who no doubt feel like this game is for the Birds. Right, 0-1. Polanco flied to right and struck out, grounded out, and doubled to right. So Vigna with a triple at third, chasing in 2. So Mota went 2/3 of an inning and gave up at least 4 runs and 4 hits. Vigna belongs to Guillermo. So he was racked. Ball 2. Mulholland pitches rarely, and that reflects in his performance, but it's just so hard to get him any work at all. Little ground ball to third. Beltre finally gets the last out. 8 men come to the plate, 4 come home, and at the end of 7 1/2, Cardinals 9, Dodgers 2. Dodger Baseball is brought to you by Jack in the Box, by MGD Cold Filtered for a pure beer, by your Southern California BMW Center, by Southwest Airlines, and by Buick. It's all good. Bottom of the 8th inning. It is 9-2 St. Louis. The kids are here, most of them very, very disappointed, along with most of the adults, but not the Cardinals. 9 runs and 11 hits, and Mike Crudale from San Diego went to school at Santa Clara, and he'll be facing Cora, Green, and Karras. Mike Crudale 2-0, an ERA of a little more than 1.5. He's done very well. He was a third baseman in high school, and then in his freshman year at Santa Clara they converted him to a pitcher. Graduate of Monte Vista High School in Danville. So Alex Cora will face him. Alex has struck out twice and walked, and into the bottom of the 8th we go. Right. Cora hitting .284. And that's popped up. And it will be Vigna or Martinez. Vigna. So Cora pops it up, 1 down, bottom of the 8th inning, and the batter will be Shawn Green.
Right fielder number 15, Shawn Green.
In the modern day and age, you don't see very many ball clubs coming from behind in the last 2 innings. Not with the rise of the successful starter. Green, a drive to left. Pujols on the dead run makes the catch just before hitting the railing. He might have hurt his knee a little bit, but a wonderful play by Albert Pujols, taking maybe even a home run away from Green. That might have carried in the seats otherwise. So Shawn, a long out to left field, 2 down. Pujols, risking limb at least, never took his eyes off anything but the ball. Nice play by Albert indeed. So with 2 out, Eric Karras, 0-1. When the Dodgers trail after 8 innings, they have only been able to pull 1 game out. Their record would be 1-38. But most teams are the same way. Closers have just completely changed the come from behind. Oh, a lot of clubs pop off about come from behind wins. They're down 1-0 at the end of the 1st inning and win it. That's called come from behind. But the guys in the pen, the ones who come in with all the pressure, they have really ruined come from behind games. They talk about the game's not over till the fat lady sings. Well, the stoppers, the closers, have done a tremendous job in quieting the fat lady. 2-2. When the Cardinals are trailing after 8 innings, where the Dodgers are 1-38, the Cardinals are 2-32. There just aren't any miracle teams anymore. In the dirt. 3-2 the count, Eric, who has struck out twice and popped up. 2 out, bottom of the 8th, 9-2 St. Louis. The last time these teams will face each other during the regular season. High foul ball off third. Polanco coming over. Leans in, no good, way back. And still bouncing. The dad got him the ball. Sheer delight, isn't it? 3-2. Foul back. Each side scored in the 2nd inning. Then the Dodgers got a run in the 4th inning to lead 2-1. And then the roof fell in. Hideo Nomo fielded a bunt and threw it away, and that turned out to be a 3-run 7th. And then Guillermo Mota got knocked around for 4 more. So it is 9-2 Cardinals. The Dodgers roll over quietly in the 8th inning. And at the end of 8, 9-2 St. Louis. Well, the Cardinals, thanks for the overthrow by Nomo, picked up 3 in the 7th inning, then jumped all over Mota for 4 more. Edgar Renteria having a 4-for-4 day. Adrian Beltre knocked in both Dodger runs, and the Dodgers coming up very short offensively in another ball game. Meanwhile, as Edgar Renteria towels off in the Cardinal dugout, Jim Edmonds is a 4-for-4 guy the wrong way. He has been up to the plate 4 times and struck out 4 times. 0-1 the count. So it's an amazing thing. Edmonds had a big home run against the Dodgers in the 1st game in St. Louis, struck out 9 times in the series. He had a home run in the 1st inning last night, and he has now struck out 5 consecutive times, but voila, He hits it, and he's thrown out on a ground ball to Beltre. So Mulholland takes care of Edmonds. 1 out.
Left fielder number
And
5.
Albert Pujols coming up.
Albert Pujols.
So it's pretty nice when a guy like Edmonds and a hitter like Pujols can go 0 for 8 between them, and your club scores 9 runs on 11 hits. I mean, you're blazing hot. Right. Venice, Matthews, Hackman, Klein, and Crudale. No more Roscoe, Mota, and Mulholland. One ball, 1 strike. Arizona leading 5-3 in the 9th inning at Pac Bell. So it could be moving day for the Dodgers, and Arizona would move back into first place by a half a game. Two and 2 to count to Albert Pujols. Cardinals with 9 runs and 11 hits, but no home run. You know, they've homered in 12 of the last 13 games, and they've hit 24 home runs over that stretch. They're on their way to win 9 of 12, and they've just piled up a lot of base hits. They've had 1 triple and 3 doubles. And that'll do it for Pujols. And again, that just shows you what kind of a ball club this Cardinal team is. Wow. Edmonds and Pujols go 0 for 9, and they score 9 runs. So La Russa sitting atop the heap, 3.5 in front of Cincinnati. And despite the loss of 2 valuable pitchers, one forever in Darryl Kyle and the other Woody Williams for a while, Cardinals are flying high. Tino Martinez single to left, fly to right, lined out to short, single to right. 2 for 4, scored twice. Comebacker. So Mulholland sets him down in order in the 9th inning, and we're heading to the bottom of the 9th. The Cardinals 9 and the Dodgers 2. Don't forget, tonight at 10, the Southern California Sports Report. We'll have complete Dodger coverage and a lot more. That'll be coming up tonight at 10. Bottom of the 9th inning. The Dodgers will have Jordan, Beltre, and Grassolani. Brian Jordan struck out twice and singled, 1 for 3. Fouled away. Dodgers have 4 hits. Jordan has a single. Beltre has a home run and an RBI double. And Grassolani a fly ball single, and that's it. Beltre knocking in both runs. 1-1 to Jordan. A reminder now, San Diego comes in for the next 2 nights. Dodgers trying to recover against a ball club that has been decimated by injuries, but always seems to play the Dodgers very tough. The Dodgers and the Padres have played each other 7 times, and the Dodgers have won 4 of the 7. It'll be Odalis Perez tomorrow night, Andy Ashby the following night, and then the Giants on the weekend. Foul back. Still 2-2 to Brian Jordan. Eric Gagne just kind of loosening up. A lot of pitchers, even if they don't work, they like to at least keep the touch. Foul ball. So Gagne not really doing much than playing catch. Gee, I remember Warren Spahn. Odalis Perez is full of beans, but Spahn was really full of beans. Spahn would take fly balls in the outfield and throw to the bases every day in between starts. and he had a magnificent career. It seemed like Spahn never had a ball out of his hands. 3-2. And a pop fly going out to get it is Vina. One away. So Jordan pops it up, and Beltre will be the batter. And you can see what's happening to the Dodgers during this homestand when you look at the fellas whom you figure will do some damage with the bat. Paul LaDuca hitting 174 during the homestand. Eric Karros, 0 for 4 today, is 4 for 19. A little more than 200. Ryan Jordan was hitting 118. 1 for 4 today. He's 3 for 21. And so when the whole ball club goes in the tank, they're not going to score very many runs. And until they begin to ignite, they will struggle. Now, Beltre came into this game hitting 188 during the homestand, but he had a home run last night, and today has a home run and a double. 2-1. Sean Green was 7 for 18. He went 0 for 4. So 7 for 22. He's hitting above 330, but no one else is. Now that's the dilemma faced by Jim Tracy. Jim kept talking about getting the hot hand, the hot hitter, to hit back of Green. Well, the problem is the whole ball club outside of Green is ice cold for the moment. It is July the 16th. 2.5 months to go. Bad ball, chased it, missed it, so did Matheny. So Beltre strikes out on what will probably be a wild pitch, and the batter will be Mark Grasolonic.
Baseman for 8, Mark Grasolonic.
Big breaking ball. So Grasolonic coming up. Crudale gets a strikeout. Grasolonic grounded out, flied out, and singled. 1 for 3. Bottom of the 9th inning, they brought in Mike Myers, that left-hander for Arizona, who almost scrapes his knuckles on the ground when he delivers. They had him pitch to Bonds, and Barry Bonds flied out to Gonzo in left center. Now that Myers has gotten Bonds, they go to Byung-Hyun Kim. Line drive, base hit for Grasolonic. So Mark has had 5 hits in the last 2 games.
Catcher number 21.
And the batter will be Chad Kreuter. On deck, Dave Hansen. He would bat for Mulholland. After the Dodgers were down 5-2, they had one look at the game. It was 5-2 Cardinals in the 7th inning. Thanks to an error by Martinez, the Dodgers had first and second and 1 out. Marquise Grissom was brought in to bat and hit into a double play, and that really was that. And the Cardinals came back with 4, and it was just about over. Strike to Kreuter. Chad, 2 fly balls, walked intentionally, 0 for 2. The pitchers of record, Hideo Nomo and Luther Hackman. Nomo to lose, Hackman to win. And that's a high change for a strike. And the count 0-2. Just in case this little smoldering pile gets a little stronger, Dave Beers begins to warm up now in the Cardinal bullpen. Did he? No swing, says Paul Schreiber. 1-2 to Chad Kreuter. off the DL and starting today. Dave Hansen waiting his turn. 1 out, 2 on. Did he that time? Yes, he did. So Kruder strikes out. 2 out and 2 on. And now Hansen coming up to bat for Mulholland.
Now batting for Mulholland, number 25, Dave Hansen.
Dave Hansen with 106 pinch hits with the Dodgers to tie Manny Mota's record. Hansen overall batting .267, 6 for 29, coming off the bench. 2 out, 2 on, 9th inning, 9-2, St. Louis. And San Diego here tomorrow night. Hope you'll be with us. That gets away, but the Dodgers down by 7 with 2 out. They're not about to risk anything. Two out in the 9th inning in San Francisco as Benito Santiago grounded out. 2-0 the count to Dave. Hansen appeared as a pinch hitter last night. Hit a ball that Isringhausen fielded and threw away. 2 balls, no strikes. And a fly ball to right field. Marrero coming up, and Eli makes the catch, and the Dodgers are done. But let's face it, they were really done since the 7th inning. Edgar Renteria with 4 hits, scored 3, knocked in a couple. Without a doubt, the player of the game. 9 runs, 11 hits, and an error for the Cardinals. 2 runs, 5 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. Nomo the loser, Hackman the winner, and we'll be back. The Cardinals beat the Dodgers 9-2. Meanwhile, up at Pac Bell, thanks to that double by Mark Grace that drove in 2, Arizona beats the Giants 5-3. Randy Johnson picks up his 13th win against 3 losses. Byung-Hyun Kim picked up his 26th save, and Arizona moves back into first place, a half a game in front of the Dodgers. Once again, the final score, Cardinals 9, Dodgers 2. For Ross Porter and Rick Monday, this is Vin Scully saying so long from Dodger Stadium. And a reminder for all the day's local sports news, don't miss the Southern California Sports Report tonight at 10. See you tomorrow night with San Diego. So long, everybody.